Hi, I'm a bit nervous about delivering this message, but they told me I needed to. All right, so my guides first started talking to me about this subject. Oh gosh, it was a couple of weeks ago. I was giving a talk on angels and guides at Aquarius Books. I don't remember the date. But the message that they started with was that you all are spiritual beings having a human experience. This is something we know. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. What they emphasized is that knowing that, we tend to dismiss the human experience part of it, focusing more so on the spiritual being side of it. They want us to understand that the human experience is what we came for. It sounds a bit simplistic and a bit like, yes, of course, but we need to live the human experience. Whether that is joy, love, fear, distress, anguish, amusement, whatever that experience is, we need to appreciate it, relish it. That's what we came here for. This was borne out in a recent QHHT session that I conducted. This woman is in her late 60s or upper 60s, I guess I could say. And in her session, she went to the present lifetime, but when she was in fourth grade, so 9 years old. And she found that she was holding on to an experience that she had then. When I called in her subconscious and asked, well, why out of all of the lifetimes, all of the experiences that this person has had, why would you show her that? Ninth or fourth grade, 9 years old. The experience was her parents splitting up and feeling that they abandoned her emotionally, right? Did not understand that a child might need some help to get through that. And basically telling her, oh, just don't worry about it. Don't think about it. On that. Her subconscious telling her that she needs to reach that emotion. I don't know why I'm getting emotional right now. Her subconscious told her she needed to reach that emotion, acknowledge it, express it, and then she could release it. Okay. And acknowledging emotion and acknowledging things came up several times during her session. So it came up for her in a personal way to acknowledge what she was feeling at 9 years old, express that feeling, and then she can release it. It came up on a global scale in terms of racism. That we're going through healing racism collectively. She said it would take, her subconscious said it would take 5 generations. We're working on healing that collectively, but first, we all have to acknowledge that feeling. Recognize, I think, the feeling first, then acknowledge it, then express the feeling, then we can release it and we can work on healing it. Okay. So, spiritual beings having a human experience, right? That's the first part. The bridge is experiencing emotions, recognizing the feeling of emotions, and feeling the feeling of emotions, and then healing the feeling and from emotions. Okay, that's the bridge. This morning, the end part. No, okay, they're telling me it's not the end part. It's just the next step. Okay, got it. So the next step, the step we're going to focus on today, is the role of negative emotion. So I was listening to a podcast talking about the Facebook testimony before Congress from the whistleblower, talking about how social media amplifies negative messaging. And I tended to zone out a bit long enough, and I hope you can recognize this feeling, long enough for my guides to slip in. And they said, humans, especially at this time, are craving the experience of being human. In other words, we humans, are craving the experience of feeling. I know that sounds very strange, but I really kind of understood what they were saying, is that we're so checked out. We're so zoned out. We're so disconnected from who we are and who we came to be that we're craving emotion. We're craving feeling. Now, here's the thing. Negative emotion is kind of like empty calories, right? They fill us up. We can binge on them. They're in some ways like empty fats and salt-laden, MSG-laden foods, is that they deliver a bigger bang for the buck, in that, just kind of like junk food, they will fill us up and taste good while we're filling up on them. So negative emotions are a lot more accessible and quick fix right now than some of the positive emotions. The positive emotions are going to be like nutritious food, right? Like maybe a good, heavy, nutrition dense meal that's going to keep you going for much longer. So when we're craving experience, we're craving food, we're craving emotion, we're craving feeling. The negative emotions are like the quick fix. Hey, here's something shiny, here's something sparkly. And so social media recognizes that and says, hey, you want the easy stuff? We'll give you the easy stuff. The more rewarding, richer emotions are going to be better for us in the long run, but that doesn't sell. Walking through this with their assistance, oh boy, okay, wow. So walking through this with their assistance, it sounds really kind of, I don't know, banal. Sounds kind of duh. But they told me to draw some cards before I started this, because I was like, I'm not sure I can deliver this message in the way that it's going to do it justice. And they told me to draw some cards. Well, my cards are in my car right now, because I hadn't brought them in from taking them to the office, but I had these Kuan Yin cards, which I don't use for readings because they're really more for contemplation. But I was obedient. I followed my guidance and I drew a card, and it didn't make sense, but now it does. These are beautiful Kuan Yin oracle cards. So messages from Kuan Yin, the Mother Mary of the East, gentle, loving, beautiful soul. It's a beautiful picture. Okay, she's riding this wild, woolly buffalo with a buffalo calf behind it. The message is, grace carries you home. At the end of your efforts, When your resources are exhausted and you are without further recourse, I am there for you with loving, wild grace to carry you home. Okay. And all of a sudden, the meaning of that card, because I drew this card and I said, loving, wild grace to carry you home. What? That didn't make sense, and I didn't think it applied. But now I see that it does. That we can tune into our guides and our guidance when we are feeling any type of emotion and ask for wild grace to understand it so that we can acknowledge it, so that we can feel it, and so that we can release it and heal it. And we have this unending source of guidance to carry us home. They're reminding me of this quote that we're all just, and I'm going to botch it, but the essence of it is we're all just here to walk each other home, right? But when we do have a connection with our guides, that they can help carry us home this way so that we don't have to rely on the quick fix, the shiny, sexy, negative emotions that we're fed a constant stream of, right? These emotions have their place, but the bigger question is, when we're just scrolling, why are we drawn to it? There's a saying in newspapers and media, what leads, or if it bleeds, it leads, right? If it bleeds, if there's blood and destruction, then that should be the lead story because that's what draws people in. Please don't fall into that trap. Yes, it grabs our attention. And yes, it kind of feeds the need for feeling, but it's too much of an easy fix. And this message is just as much for me as it is for everybody else. So I believe that the message is, yes, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but let's make that human experience that we need to feel authentic. Authentic. We don't need to turn to social media and negative messages, or even media and negative messages to feel. It's in a way escaping from our true feelings. It's a manufactured feeling. This is really the meat of it, I believe. It's a manufactured feeling. It's an influenced feeling. It's not a genuine or authentic feeling. So remember the QHHT session. This woman had a feeling that was buried at the age of 9 about her parents splitting up and was seeking to understand and feeling abandoned by the grown-ups in the room who just told her, don't worry about it, don't even think about it, focus on something pleasant. It took her from age 9 to 66 to realize the impact of what that was doing to her. So when we do suppress emotions like this, it's so easy to turn to the shiny stuff, focus on the negativity in other people, focus on negative things that we see around us rather than addressing what's inside. And when that gets really hard to do, you've got a never-ending source of divine love and guidance that's available to you. So allow Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Jesus, Yogananda, Ashtar, whoever you want to call on, to use that wild grace to carry you home, right? I'm just asking my guides if that's complete. If they said, oh, dear one, you did a beautiful job. All right, that's the message. Have a good day. Bye.